Call us meeting.
Let's all stand, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to come together and to do the work of the Cherokee Nation. We ask you for guidance and direction, and ask you, Lord, to be with those who are serving our country. In Jesus' name, I'll pray. Amen.
Greg Jordan.
Here.
Gil Smith.
Here.
Bill England.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden. Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Dick Lay.
On.
Mike Sherlock.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Honey.
Denise Taylor.
Here.
Victoria Vespa.
Honey.
David Walkingstick.
Honey.
Brian Warner. We do have a quorum.
Approval of the minutes from March the 12th.
So make a motion. Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Reports. Bruce Davis. There's no reason. David Moore.
How you doing? Bruce is out. He's on travel today, so we're here to try to answer any questions y'all might have on his report.
Is there any questions?
If we can't answer them, we'll get the answer.
Yes, sir.
How'd the Buffalo workout go the other day?
I wasn't there, but somebody went. I think it went good.
It went very well. It did. I was able to catch the last portion of it. It went real well.
Big animals.
Sir, would you pass on to the Delonaghy boys how much I appreciate them doing that
Sure will.
fence down there at the Cherry Tree Housing Addition? Looks good.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know they appreciate hearing stuff like that.
Thank you.
Mr. Buzzer?
Yeah, David, last month I talked to Bruce. The committee had talked to Bruce about the pine trees, and I want to make sure we stay on top of that and see what kind of a plan we're going to be drawing up to what we're going to do.
That's actually where he's at. He went
Okay.
down to, I guess, observe how they do it and stuff down at Broken Bow area.
The other thing, the other question, do we still have that chipper up there at Blue Hall?
I've heard them talk about it. I couldn't tell you for sure if it's there or not, but I think so.
What about the sawmill? Do you know if it's there yet?
Not heard anything about a
It used
sawmill.
to be stored in that big building down there just below the ranch house up there, so. What I'm thinking about those pine trees is chips and stuff like that, and I don't know, some other stuff like that, but check on it, see
I will.
if we have the chipper still, the sawmill still.
I think they do have the chipper.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, sir.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah. Well, mine's just a comment, and I'd like to thank Bruce and your department as well for the topping off the ceiling, topping off the building paperweight. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome.
I've never had a bolt like that before.
It's pretty big. It's pretty impressive. I mean, it was, it's just an impressive job to be a part of. I mean, it is going great.
What
It's-
are they presently working on? Are they working on completing the inside or
We're
what
doing,
floor? Or?
they're doing everything. I mean, they're roofing, they're framing on the inside. I mean, they're still hanging all braces and stuff like that on the steel. They're trying to enclose the outside with EFS and stuff. So, I mean, they've got a lot going on at once. So, you know, their main objective is to get the building closed in right now. So, but it's going real well right now.
Good.
It's exciting to be part of Cherokee Nation right now, you know.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, Dave, I was talking to Councilman Smith, the project that's going on there in Sequoia County at the South Salt Creek, South Salt Park, are you guys?
No, Sarah, do y'all over
That's-
yet, or?
That's C&B's project now, so I think.
I didn't know if they took it over yet
No,
or
I think
not.
Chuck G is the person, Chuck Garrett would be the person who'd be able to answer that question. I can.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all
Did an
very
excellent
much.
job. Real estate, Ginger Brown.
Good afternoon. You have a copy of my report. I'll be happy to address any questions.
Questions? Got good.
Thank you.
Environmental, Tom Elkins.
Yes, sir. That part goes as well. Good afternoon. You have a copy of the report for Cherokee Nation Environmental Programs, and I don't know there's a whole lot that I can elaborate on. If you look at the percentages of things that are done, it looks like they're a little bit low for the, like 100% of the year, but all these things are completely dependent upon other groups. At least this part is that they're a resource to other groups. The Housing Authority needs such and such done, they do that. And it's always dependent upon another group for these numbers. So usually we try to adjust those numbers to where it comes out close to 100%. Sometimes, it'll be 125, just depending on how well or how organized everything overlaps and fits together. You know how things are at the nation. But I would like to mention one thing, and that is that the Environmental Festival, and I forget what it is this year, it's like the 7th or 8th annual Environmental Festival. It used to be held here at the Nation, at the complex, and then it got taken up to the Talking Leaf Job Corps, and it seemed pretty good, but it was difficult for some people to get up there. But what's been happening is that we've had the same schools participate there, and so trying to get participation with other schools around the area. It's being held up at Pryor at the industrial park there at a certain part. And so they've already got a couple of schools scheduled to come in. And it's always a good event for kids. I mean, there's things that kids really, I enjoy being there, but, they'll have animals and things that they can see in scientific, just not studies, but things that they can look at and get an idea of. And, you expose the kids to that at a young age, and they want to be a part of that type of thing. And so we're always trying to encourage children to get in the STEM programs of science and technology. But that's always been a real good thing. So if you have time, I'll make sure that the flyer gets out to you all. If you're interested in that, I know they'd love to have you up there. So if you have any questions on our report, I'd be happy to answer those.
Yes, sir.
Tom, I noticed in your report, on this T property, you're doing phase 1 ESA.
Yes.
What is that, and what is that?
An environmental site assessment, that's to, a phase 1 is to see if, if we've acquired that property or if we have it and we're going to do something with it, to see if we have any liability issues there.
What they're doing, they're taking it out of trust. They're removing it from trust property. Why would you be doing anything for that?
Actually, I don't even know. That would be I think a Ginger question.
Can I ask Ginger that question?
She'll be up in just a minute.
I don't know what the purpose of it is, but whenever status of property like that is done.
Can I ask Ginger that question, Sarah?
Go ahead.
Ginger, why are they moving the trust restrictions off the TE property? That kind of maybe up in my area there.
Would you restate that question?
What was that question?
Staff is working on the TE property doing a phase 1 ESA for Cherokee Nation Real Estate Service. This project is a removal from trust property. I've got concerns about it. It's on page 17.
At the time that it's probably at Kenwood, is that correct?
Well, I
When
don't
those
know. I
houses
think
are
it's
paid
out.
off, they get the opportunity, if it's a
Okay,
trust
yes, that may be
piece,
what it is.
they get an opportunity either to take it trust to trust,
Okay.
or to take it out of trust.
That's probably what it is, where they've
That
got
is
an
it.
MH house built on
Yes.
it. Okay.
Yes.
And that
Okay.
happens pretty regularly.
The reason I was asking, so there's some TEs around Jay that has some trust property, and I was concerned about that. Okay,
That's it.
you probably got it right. Thank you, sir. That's probably it.
Go ahead.
I have a question. It says here that the staff visited the Muskogee Clinic, J Clinic, to distribute lead outreach materials.
Yes, ma'am.
Why would we be doing that? Is it for the clinic or is it for somebody else?
No, it's for participants that go through the clinic. We put that lead outreach material at a lot of different, so we do it at the tag agencies, a lot of different places around there, but they just put it up there at this particular time. But we make sure, you know how they have pamphlets at different places. We make sure that those are always full and that people have access to that material.
And then one other question, what is happening currently at Tar Creek?
I don't know off the top of my head exactly. There's always something going on there. And whether it's an assessment of what's there, which that's pretty much been assessed for 25 years, but we have participants, staff that attend all those meetings about that. I can get you an update on that.
Oh, would you mind presenting that next meeting?
Absolutely.
I can't but think we'd all be interested in seeing what's happening with that.
I can do that and have that sent to you all.
Thank you.
What creek is that?
Tar Creek, that Superfund site.
Ottawa County.
They call it the Tri-State Mining District. Just a tidbit, and this just amazed me. I remember doing a report on that area in school. You think of gold mining and so many hundreds of millions of dollars come out of different gold mines throughout the country. I mean, Cripple Creek, Colorado, there was $300 or $400 million of gold taken out of there. There's over $1 billion in lead and zinc came out of that Tri-State Mining District. I mean, that's a lot of lead and zinc. It's just amazing to me. I'm a big nerd, I know that.
I don't think the natives got most of it, though.
No. We got the chat that was left over.
Yeah, we got the chat piles. Yeah, I still see that. Councilor England.
Yeah, Tom, do you have any updates on the Collinsville site?
No, but I can get you an update.
Can you get us that?
Absolutely.
Because that's
absolutely.
right in our jurisdiction.
Certainly, I can do that.
And it was on the news again the other day, how many people has contracted cancer in the Collinsville area.
No, we're talking about the smelter up
The
there, right?
smelter,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah. Definitely, I can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Lay was out of the room when you talked about the environmental festival. Could you restate where that's going to be this year?
It's going to be in Pryor at the at the industrial complex up there.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Goodness.
Where everything's at.
Pryor gets it all.
Yes.
Second.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Secretary of Natural Resources, Sarah Hill.
I have a longish report, so I'll try to get through it as much as I can. One thing that happened this morning was the EPA finally released the models that they've been doing of the Illinois River watershed for their, what they call the TMDL study, total maximum daily load. And that's trying to get a sense of what it is in the Illinois, what's causing the nutrient pollution in the Illinois River. We know that there's too much phosphorus in the river and it causes issues. And so they did a model on what sources would need to be turned down so that we could meet the standard. At least we've been working on these with EPA off and on for years and hosting meetings, and so I'm glad those models are finally out today. So that's something that's going to be really useful to Oklahoma and to Arkansas, and hopefully the EPA will eventually set a federal TMDL setting a maximum load for that river, so that we know what the standard is now. We'll know what nutrients can be in the river and what can't. So this is hopefully part of the process of getting a healthier Illinois River watershed. But it's going to take still a lot of work. But this is one step in that long process of trying to get some real controls on the Illinois River. He talked about the festival coming up. So far we've got Justice, Salina, and Adair. About 200 students are going to be out there. So we're really excited to have that. The idea is we're going to rotate it out. So we'll have it in Pryor this year, then back to Tahlequah, and then we'll rotate it out to a different community to try to get some different schools an opportunity to participate. On the ethnobotany side, Pat's been working with the regional, with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on their regional Native American policy. Pat was one of the main assistants of drafting the national policy, and so now he's working on the regional policy, so it's something he's been working on for a long time. Pat and I and Donnie Mackey have been having discussions with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service about the red wolf. The red wolf is one of the most endangered species in the world, and it is the wolf in Cherokee culture. So it's a particularly difficult problem, and so we've been doing consultations with the service, trying to get a better idea of what the population is like and what maybe we could do to help assist in that. So it's a very important species to Cherokee Nation and something that we're very concerned about. The Seed Bank is continuing their good work. The landfill on Saturday, they had their annual free day at the landfill in support of the Adair County Trash Off. They took 230 loads, about 142 tons of trash, and it collected 1,500 tires, which we will recycle. So that's a little bit of a burden off of Adair County, and that's an annual thing that the landfill does in support of the Adair County Trash Off. On the tribal historic preservation side, there has been the TCNS, which is the Tribal Historic Reviews of these different cell phone towers under the FCC. They issued a new report, and in that they have decided that for the smaller cell phone towers, they're going to completely remove those from federal undertaking, which means they're not going to be doing any historic preservation reviews and no environmental reviews on all of these small locations. So obviously there are a lot of tribes that are very concerned about that. We're going to be reviewing our legal and other policy options that we might have under that. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that that's a big issue in Indian country historic preservation at the moment. We developed a MOU with the Trail of Tears Association, had a little
Sarah,
signing.
what
Yes,
are you
sir.
calling small?
So there's the co-locations. There's different types of small. So there's some that are just attached to existing poles, and there are others that have the smaller footprint. And I can get you a more their entire second order goes into a lot of detail about the sizes of those different towers. We think it's about 30% of the towers we review would fit in that small category right now.
Okay.
So that would mean about 30% of the reviews we're currently doing would be excluded from that review. So some of them are quite small, and some of them are a little larger.
Okay, thank you.
I feel like I'm just running through this, but there's kind of a lot on this month's report. On NAGPRO, we've been continuing to work with the Peabody Museum of Archaeology, which is part of Harvard University. They've got some remains there that are likely Cherokee. We're trying to get them sent back and reburied in the Cherokee homeland. So we've got several of those NAGPRO projects ongoing. And then the Keepsigle case. On March 26th, the Supreme Court denied cert in the Keepsigle case, which finally sets into motion the settlement, the final settlement of that case. In that decision, all of the successful claimants will receive an additional $18,500 plus an additional $2,775 payment to the IRS to offset some of the tax burden. That is due to be paid within no later than 60 days after the mandate issues from the court, which I don't think the mandate, it did not issue when I looked earlier this morning. So there's no mandate that has been issued yet in that case. So there are no new applications being taken. This will only benefit people who are previously successful applicants. That's about $77 million in additional payments out to the successful applicants. There will be another $265 million that's going into a trust that will be managed on behalf of Native farmers and ranchers in Indian country. So that trust process is still being set up. So that's going to probably take a little more time before any of that money starts to make its way into Indian country. And then there's about $38 million that will go to selected nonprofits and tribes. So they had an application process, seems like it's a couple of years ago now for that, and we submitted an application. So I don't know what that outcome of that's going to be. So if you were a successful claimant and you have moved since 2012, you need to contact the settlement folks and let them know that you've moved. And you can send that to questions@indianfarmclass.com, or there's a phone number that people can call. So if there are claimants who haven't updated their address and they want to get their payment, they need to update their address. We attended the Tribal Environmental Summit that was held in Dallas, April 11th through 13th, and met with the new regional administrator of Region 6, she's a political appointee, Ann Itzall, and she's a Texan, and she's never really dealt with tribes before, but she was very nice. She expressed a desire to come visit the Cherokee Nation, and I welcomed her to come and do that. I'd love to show her the work that we do here. So it's good to have a new administrator in Region 6, which is the region that mostly controls in the area that Cherokee Nation operates. So that was a good opportunity to meet her for the first time and begin to tell her a little bit about the work we do here. So that's it. I think that's the whole report.
You did good, Sarah.
Sir, when we was at the state capitol the other day, there was a bill that had to do with a school transferring property to a nonprofit or to a tribal or to a tribe. And I was wanting to know if you knew what the status of that is.
I do not. I'll have to look into that, sir.
Okay, it was in our little packet they gave us when we got there, that little red notebook.
Right.
or up there. It's one of the bills that was in there.
Okay,
Just curious what the status of it is.
I'll check on that for you.
Okay. The other thing is with the Keep Siegel. So there's 265 million that's appropriated to tribes for Native American farmers.
Well, it's gonna go to a trust, and then the trust will decide where the money goes from there, so the trust will make the rules.
So you indicated that we did submit an application for some of those funds, or is there application available yet, or?
So there's two different pots of money. There's the 38 million, which was like the initial part that was going to go out to tribes and nonprofits. They took applications for that section of it separately than the 265 million. You can't make application for any part of the 265 million yet because they haven't even had their first meeting of the trustees. But there was an application process to compete for that 38 million. So we did submit an application for that first round of funding.
You know, who is our, what was the lady's name that was working on trying to get a USDA office to the Cherokee Nation?
Can't think of her name, but two of our board members, one of them may be Pat Gwynn's on that trust board.
He is on that trust board.
The other is a guy named Holder of Choctaw Nation. All I know is the 38 million is going to be given out earlier than the trust, because like you said, the trust people have not even had a meeting yet.
Right, and the 38 million was determined by a board that included, I think Janie Hipp was maybe the director of this much smaller board that selected the applicants there, so. And I haven't heard,
From Arkansas.
yeah.
All right, well, I just want to be sure that we get opportunity at some of those funds, because we do have a lot of needs agriculturally within the Cherokee Nation, especially up there at Sequoia High School. We've been trying to develop an ag program up there for the last 6 years. So I'm optimistic it'll happen one of these days. But
I'm excited about the opportunity to get some of this funding out into Indian country. I think everyone's really tired of waiting on the Keep Siegel money to finally be approved and have an opportunity to put it to work for, you know, we got young people that we need to take on the agriculture duties that their grandparents are, you know, doing right now. It's hard to get, you know, young farmers and ranchers into the business, and I think this is a great opportunity for us to use some of that funding to help that happen.
You know, and I hope that hopefully that complements our diversified business plan as well. I think we could tie it all in together. We got the resources. Hopefully it's a home run for us. So thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Thank you, Chair.
Councilor Taylor. Councilor Shaw.
I have a quick question. The red wolf is on the endangered species list
Yes, ma'am.
in this country,
Yes.
so don't shoot one.
No, definitely don't shoot one.
Thank
There's
you.
not going to be any around here to shoot, unfortunately.
Okay.
This used to be part of their range, but not anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no. Where's the nearest one? Where's the nearest state?
They have several different captive breeding programs, but there's very limited wild range left for the red wolf. So if steps aren't taken, I'm afraid that it's going to be, you know, it's going to go beyond endangered into extinct, and that would be truly a tragedy, I think, for the Cherokee people to see the red wolf become extinct. So I don't know exactly what the best, I don't have a full appreciation or understanding yet of what the problem is or where we might be able to help, but it's something I'm definitely interested in looking at and we'll continue to study.
Yes, thank you. I would like to speak with you after the meeting, Sarah.
You got it? Sure.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah, in that play Nanyahi, it's about a white wolf, so we're good there, right? We're good, Chair.
Old business, none pending, new business.
Who's gonna do that?
Brian is not here.
Frank did it.
Frank, you want to take that?
This is a resolution authorizing acceptance of land from Oklahoma Department of Transportation. I move for approval. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Moving down to number 2. Councilor Shambaugh.
This is a resolution dealing with Beck's Mill. I would like this tabled for at least a month so more research can be done.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, will be tabled. Announcements? Ready to adjourn. You don't have any motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All All in favor?
You're not gonna get it.
You are adjourned.
Yeah, we didn't get